Good day or evening, dear participants. In this first lecture of Module 4, we are going to focus on the scope and conceptual clarification of Module 4. This module identifies and explains the challenges facing capacity development for teachers and teacher educators to address effective teaching and learning. There is overwhelming evidence of pedagogical inadequacies, especially in the Global South, and this is what pushed UNESCO to come up with professional support for teachers and teacher educators, providing opportunities to reinvent teaching and learning to make it more resilient, more equitable, and more efficient in delivering learning for all. Aspirations for education. 2030 present a clear mandate for teachers and teacher educators to continuously improve and update their knowledge and skills in order to ensure they prepare students for 21st century learning. In the absence of high-quality capacity development for curriculum implementation to support what teachers already know and do and provide them with real guidance for how they might do things differently, the aspirations of curriculum transformation for enhanced diversity, inclusivity, equality, and equity, Module 1, Curriculum Design and Implementation, Module 2, and Processes in Curriculum Implementation, Module 3, will not be realized. In addition, Module 4 addresses the current problems and future challenges of empowering teachers, teacher educators, and other stakeholders, aiming to highlight some key areas for capacity development for curriculum implementation. Some areas of concern can be identified as low or outdated professional qualifications and minimal teacher education, the absence of an institutional-based professional learning culture for empowering teachers as internal agents of change, and the gap between teacher training institutions and schools. Capacity development is therefore meant to address academic rigor, methods of lesson delivery, school size, and the relationships among students and teachers. Capacity development for teachers and teacher educators is therefore necessary for enhanced teaching and learning that articulates Modules 1, 2, and 3. For the individual teacher or teacher educator, the goal of capacity development is threefold: improved instructional strategies, improved teaching, and improved outcomes for students. The gap between the theory of teacher education and classroom teaching practices has been an issue of concern for a long time. This has been further complicated when teachers in many countries have lost much of the craft knowledge necessary for school-based curriculum development implementation. Module 4 is designed to support curriculum implementation, which emphasizes local flexibility by positioning teachers and teacher educators as creative curriculum implementers. The overall purpose of the module is to strengthen the capacities of teachers, teacher educators, and other stakeholders to effectively address teaching and learning that responds to the ecological, economic, and socio-cultural demands of the 21st century. This commitment will be aligned with Education 2030, Sustainable Development Goal 4, SDG 4, which seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Education 2030 focuses on the quality and relevance of education. It is the most powerful tool for personal and collective progress, and it is the driving force behind the achievement of all the 17 SDGs. The objectives of Module 4 are twofold. 1. To support the efforts of teachers and teacher educators to aspire to implement curriculum through teaching and learning that leads to a global citizenship capable of understanding a changing and strained world. 2. To suggest a set of capacity development approaches for curriculum implementation that will apply generally to all relevant interventions, though their importance and level of use will be determined within the specific context of each intervention. The learning outcomes for this module are formulated as follows. After engaging with this module, curriculum implementers will take with them 1. The ability to co-create a positive, supportive, and inclusive learning environment through the application of world-class teaching practices. 2. Capacity to collaborate in a community of practice for curriculum implementation for developing an all-embracing teaching and learning package to support professional experiences and skills as a teachers and teacher educators. 3. Capacity for practical strategies in classroom management, lesson planning, and delivery through fully supported interactive learning activities. Let us look at the conceptual clarification for this module. According to Irina Bokova, former Director General of UNESCO, for the first time, the aim is to move beyond literacy and numeracy, to focus on learning environments and new approaches to learning for greater justice, social equity, and global solidarity, as argued by Villalta and Martinez-Samper in 2021. If this goal is going to be effectively achieved, teachers and teacher educators need the capacity to implement their curriculum through innovative, adaptive, and up-to-date teaching and learning approaches. This module addresses capacity development to inspire and facilitate abilities and strategies for curriculum reorientation that promote new approaches to teaching and learning, including the use of information and communication technologies, ICTs. It is intended to enhance professional competences in designing, developing, delivering, and evaluating teaching and learning activities in support of learning for the 21st century, while ensuring that effective curriculum implementation responds to future challenges, including complexity and uncertainty. The suggested activities in this module offer opportunities for curriculum developers to further their understanding of central issues related to capacity development for curriculum implementation. In this module, capacity development for curriculum implementation is addressed as the process through which teachers, teacher educators, and other stakeholders, curriculum implementers, are supported to disrupt the ineffective normalized practice, strengthen capabilities, and achieve curriculum-guided teaching and learning objectives, disruptive innovation. Capacity development for curriculum implementation supports professionals in their efforts to respond by developing context-specific strategies for strengthening different elements of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values necessary to understand, engage with, and shape a changing world towards a better future by 2030. The next important aspect is the capacity development for curriculum implementation as a 21st century response. The Education 2030 agenda was adopted in 2015 to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030, with a series of targets set out to realize this. There is an ever-increasing demand for an educational approach that addresses the challenges of sustainable and equitable development that matches the pace of global change. COVID-19 saw the strengthened or newly forged global partnerships in order to rethink the way forward for education and realize the Education 2030 goals. If society is going to succeed in challenging the current and future socio-ecological problems, humanity needs to respond with a different kind of education that is transformative and long-lasting. In an attempt to close the gap created by the urgency for quality and relevance in teaching and learning that responds to the current local and global dysfunction, Module 4 demonstrates why and how the current education system needs to change to confront 21st century challenges by integrating capacity development approaches that try and answer the question, what does teaching and learning for an unknown future entail? This module presents teacher capacity development as a complex dynamic knowledge co-creation process with the intention of unlocking core capabilities for transformative learning. This can feel like a daunting task, but with the right tools, appropriate planning, and relevant curriculum-guided principles, empowered teachers and teacher educators will realize their full potential. Furthermore, Module 4 is a mediation artifact that introduces strategies for rethinking appropriate capacity development that may transform classroom interactions to empower learners by effectively responding to ever-changing challenges. Module 4 is therefore presented as a catalyst for educationally mediated social transformation, initiating the emergence of new and exciting forms of learning activities, which can be sustained into viable livelihoods. It will demonstrate how educators can be supported through dynamic and contemporary processes of knowledge co-creation for curriculum implementation. This module covers the following topics: capacity development for curriculum implementation as a 21st century response, approaches to capacity development, models for teacher professional development, understanding emerging pedagogies in curriculum implementation, the importance of subject associations in capacity development. If you have any questions or challenges, please use the discussion forum of Module 4 under Lecture 1 to ask questions and answer other participants' questions as well. Thank you for your attention.